Okay. Welcome to another landmark episode of DMA Brandmasters. I'm your host Preeti Hoon, diving into the transformative world of banking and marketing with HDFC Bank's very own Ashish Morone. Welcome, Ashish.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Today, we explore the synergies and strategies post the monumental HDFC and HDFC Bank merger, with Ashish guiding us through the evolving landscape of finance marketing in this digital era. As the Senior Vice President and Head of Marketing at HDFC Bank, Ashish has been pivotal in steering the brand through the digital revolution and the recent merger, reshaping the landscape of banking services. Join us as we deep dive into the transformative strategies HDFC Bank is adopting in the era of digital banking and high stake marketing showdowns. So, Ashish, first thing first, how is IPL and elections keeping you busy?
Well, I was say quite busy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Is it keeping you on your toes? Are these two
Uh,
events in the same calendar year keeping you on your toes?
Not really on my toes, but yes, the opportunity is there, and in terms of how do we leverage that is, I think, the question which is on everyone's minds.
Sure. And so, what about your post-merger media strategy in the new chapter following HDFC's merger? How is HDFC Bank adjusting its media allocation strategy to harness the power of digital and traditional platforms during events like IPL and general elections?
First things first, I don't think the merger has really made a huge difference in terms of our media strategies, right?
Okay.
And it was a very happy addition to our portfolio to ensure that we have the entire spectrum of financial offerings now for our consumers, right? And it's only added, I think, a really good class of customers to the portfolio because home loans typically have very high engagement and they are a long tenure product. So it's a very happy addition to our portfolio. Having said that, we were distributing home loans even in the past, and now it's just come within the bank. So from a media strategy perspective, nothing really has changed. And if you were to look at it, we have always looked at approaching media in an integrated manner, because today I don't think there is a fine line also between digital and traditional media. I think a lot of brand sort of KPIs or KRAs get delivered through a mix of digital and traditional, right? And if you have today, if you watch the changing consumption with people moving to CTV or the OTT platforms, I think it's almost inseparable in my mind. So we evaluate it as a joint sort of piece together to see how it can help me achieve my brand KPIs.
Sure, but when it comes to these high octane events like IPL and general elections, what are your thoughts? Like, how do you choose your media? Do you prefer digital? Like you said, it has become inseparable in a way.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so do you prefer digital over traditional now?
No, I would not make such a bold statement, right?
Okay.
It has to be a fair mix. And I think that's where the term, and I talked about it earlier, was that we looked at it in an integrated manner. So it's an integrated media approach. I do not think the kind of impact and reach that a television creates can be replicated at this point of time. And I also cannot do away with digital, which really leads to extremely high engagement and trackability in terms of business conversions. So each of the media has a role to play, and I see both continuing to be a crucial part of the media mix. Yes, the weights on digital has gone up definitely from where it used to be, say, 4 to 5 years earlier. But I still think it is early days to write off traditional media.
So, do you think that trust is one of the factors why you are, so to say, having your loyalties with traditional media over digital? The
Trust.
brand's image and trust?
So that is one aspect of it, right? But I would still say that the kind of impact that a large format medium creates is
Mm-hmm.
something which is still extremely crucial in terms of building a brand. And trust is one aspect, yes, but trust has many other sort of legs to it. And for us, one biggest factor is the presence that we have physically in terms of our branch network and ATM network across the country, right? And yes, presence on large medium formats like television also helps build trust, But I would say that is not the only reason I would be sticking to traditional media. It is also about what it delivers in terms of the impact for the brand beyond trust.
Sure. And what about the content strategies at HDFC Bank? How are you employing those to stand out in the cluttered media landscape during these peak advertising periods?
Yeah. So content again has now become an important part of the mix. But then the way we see it is, there is content which is, hard selling of products, which explains how can you manage your money with us, through our accounts or through our cards or whatever, right? But there is a piece of content which is also educative, right? Which is sort of gets consumers to understand finances better, to how to make more out of money better. And we believe that these two should be treated extremely differently, right? So we are very very careful not to have a very strong product push in content which is educative in nature. And with data, with a lot of data available and with analytics in place, and we have a very large data scientist team, we are able to identify a customer who's today maybe very keenly interested in a product, and we will reach out to them with the bottom of the funnel campaigns. But if I know that Preeti is currently not interested, she may be interested maybe 6 months down the line, that's where then I will share content which is informational, right, educative for her, saying that hey, if you are looking out for something like that, these are the best options available. This is what people like you do in the market, right? So we nurture customers who are not currently in the funnel, bottom funnel. So content plays roles at these two levels, and then there's a third piece to it, which is social media. And social media as a medium again is not a hard sell product, sales medium. And there, if you have to sort of build your brand through using of the various channels that are available, I think it's crucial to match the nature of the social media channel that you are operating in, right? So for us, each of the channels, be it Insta, be it a Facebook, or be it YouTube or a LinkedIn, have very different strategies which try to leverage the strength or the sort of persona of that particular medium, right? And basis that we curate content which may not be product led, which may not be category led, right? But which sort of helps us, connect with the audience in the right manner, and subtly do put in messages about how you can be better with your money management.
Okay. Actually, you
And
almost answered the question that I wanted to ask you about social media. Like, what is your strategies given that, HDFC is a serious brand? If you perceive it, it's a
yeah,
finance serious, you have to perceive it as a trustworthy brand. So when it
yes,
comes to social media, which is largely cluttered and, to make your mark in a space like that, it becomes really
yes,
very difficult. Are you of the understanding that you can, sort of be one of those who would carve out a strategy which is sort of social media worthy strategy in a way where you
yes,
are having a quirky presence but not pushing your project? Are you one of those, like, do
yes.
you come from that school of thought?
Very much, very much. While we may be a very serious product and a high involvement product, it does not mean we cannot be fun, right? And over a period of
Okay.
time, we've seen the commercials or the campaigns we have run over the last maybe 7 8 years now. They have had a sense of light humor, fun attached to it. So it's not that, yes, I may not be irreverent or be slapstick, but yeah, and fun from when we pick up insights from life and we're able to touch the hearts of the consumers, it does get that smile to our faces, right? So we're very open to having some quirkiness, some fun, some humor. Yes, we dial up our quirkiness when we get onto the social media, with of course very clear guardrails saying that hey, I should not err, and hence there are set boundaries. But we still push the envelope quite a bit, right? And we look at different ways in which we can leverage this. And I'm sure you would be aware, we have created our own very own social media influencer called vigilante, right? And there's a big problem that the entire category, the industry is facing, which is for frauds, and which has increased when the digital sort of medium has now started being used to a big extent for even doing your transactions on banking. So it's, as leaders, then we thought that it is incumbent upon us to sort of ensure people are made aware, and help them sort of avoid getting defrauded. So we
But
created our own social media influencer vigilante. She's got over 2 million, 3 million, followers now, and
oh,
she keeps disseminating. the newest latest techniques in which the fraudsters are trying to defraud people, right? And
Okay.
it's pretty cool if you look at her, the way she operates, the language she uses, the episodes she has where she invites someone, for a talk about frauds. It's fun. There's a lot of fun, but the messaging is extremely serious and relevant, which comes under that, right? So in
Okay.
our
And
mind,
what
the
about
combination works very well for us.
Okay, and what about engaging the audience? Like the attention span is, as we move forward, it's just reducing day by day. How do you engage the audience? What are the strategies that you deploy during these high-profile events, especially, when we have IPL and general elections in the same year? It's double the challenge. So how do
Yeah.
you navigate that?
So, when you've been talking about this, elections and IPL, and to my mind, both are very important events, but are very different in nature as well.
Yeah.
And if you to look at elections, to my mind, it's a very short burst, gives you extremely high reach. It would reach out to even the senior folks across the country, right?
Mm,
And it's very good to me for a short term burst on something like a corporate messaging campaign, or just creating a very quick burst or a tactical sort of presence. But when you look at IPL, which is over the long term, the engagement levels are extremely high over a period of time, which is 3.5 hours, right? There's a lot of affinity towards certain cities and hence supporting them. So the kind of engagement levels that you see at IPL, I think that has much bigger role to play from in terms of building a long-term brand proposition, right? So they play very different roles, and based on what I am doing at that point in time, from a marketing strategy perspective, whether I'm looking at creating a long-term brand or I'm looking at some short, immediate sort of messaging that I want to do or an announcement that I want to do, right? I'll decide which ones to use. When it comes to engagement, again, I would pivot back to what I said about social media. So the same holds true here as well. IPL and the reason why people are engaged, I think we have to understand the core of what gets people engaged, ride on that, and then devise creative strategies which are in line with my brand, but at the same time
mm,
leveraging this engagement quotient that a particular program like an IPL or an elections, or for that matter any reality show like a dance show that offers, right? So it's just about getting that connect right. And just to finish on this one, on social media, even if you leave aside these large scale events, even if there is a large scale sort of topic that is being talked about in social media in a bigger way across sets of people, we do take part in that if it's relevant, right? So we do participate in
okay.
moment marketing and ensure that we also have our point of view stated through that, again, which may not necessarily be connected directly to a product offering, but hey, we have a point of view, right, as a brand.
Can you measure moment marketing?
Very tough over a period of time, yes. But yeah, in individual pieces, it's extremely tough to measure. We do have direct measures like your engagement rates
It'll just
and
shoot
reach
up
and
for a day.
everything. Yeah, they shoot up for a day, but then it's I think overall as a package we measure the impact we've created over a period of time, right? And we do sort of poll consumers online and see that whether certain parameters in terms of the attributes, image attributes that a brand has, are they changing after a consistent presence in social media. And another yardstick for us is also that recognition that happens to platforms such as Social Samosa, where if I'm picked as the campaign of the day for Friendship Day or the campaign of the day for Mother's Day, I know I'm doing
Mm,
something right, that it's getting noticed and picked up,
I see.
without us submitting an entry, right? It's something which
Mm.
just gets picked up by these forums.
Okay, sure. So, how has the digital transformation altered your approach to advertising for large scale events, and how are you measuring the success?
So two aspects to it. In terms of altered, we definitely have a digital first thought process in mind, right?
Okay.
And today, when now a creative agency comes to me to present a concept or script, the first question is, have you thought about how this can work or get implemented on a digital platform as well? Right. So it's no longer that I've shot a film and then now I'm figuring out how to have a vertical format created for digital, right? So it's even comes to as something as simple as that. And of course, then the concepts and what concepts work well on both media is something we are very particular about now.
Okay,
So
sure.
that is clearly one aspect. And in terms of measures, uh, we have seen even in the past when digital was not so big,
Hmm.
outcomes are measured to brand track, obviously, but we have done a lot of studies to see how our website traffic jumps up when these campaigns happen. And at
Okay.
a very minute level, have saying that this spot appeared at that point of time, or this print full page print ad occurred. And now, of course, digital is also there in the mix. So if I have done a big presence on a OTT platform, how do I see that shift in my website traffic happening? So that's the second measure, right? So large, very broad measure is the brand metrics. Then I have immediate measures, which is the website traffic jump. The jump in number of followers. If I look at social media platform, and that sort of gives me a sense that, yeah, right, people are looking at it and responding or reacting.
Right. Right.
The last one, and this goes this in a brand campaign. This might be not so crucial, but we do see it at an overall level. But the moment it comes to performance marketing, then the direct conversions or business that we get out of it.
Actually, I was
And
coming to that. How do you balance brand building activities with performance marketing in your overall advertising strategy, and especially during these high profile events?
so again, as I said, it can't be mixed together. And to us, those are two separate parts, right? So I will look at brand building, and I'll have an agenda for that. If
Okay.
the brand building criteria is met, yes, I can be quiet. If I feel there is something required, I can come on in. More often than not, brand building will be sporadic. So there will be a campaign, there will be a break, some level of sustenance. I'll come back again in a big way. So you'll see one, two, three large bursts for a brand in a year, right? Whereas performance marketing is an always on continuous basis. And
Okay.
hence we don't ever try to say that I will take monies off from this side and put it on this side or the other way around. There
Okay.
is a brand objective. There are budgets for my brand to meet my brand objectives, and then planned out thoughts, campaigns. There is a budget for performance
Which
marketing.
one is
And
higher?
sorry.
Which one is higher?
It I would say a few years back, performance would have been higher. Today, brand is higher. So it's the situation,
Okay.
current situation that drives, again, allocation. There is no hard and fast rule to it. Uh, and of course, there are campaigns which we do, which maybe like a big product launch, which has an impact on brand and also has KPIs on performance numbers. And in such
Okay.
cases, then the integrated becomes super integrated, because I do brand level campaigning for which is integrated digital and traditional media. And then I do also performance marketing as a follow up to that, so that I get business numbers out of it.
Okay.
And this
Okay.
happens around a
Interesting.
product launch typically, right?
Sure. And
Yeah.
how much weightage do you give to influencers and celebrity endorsements during these high octane events? And how
so
do you
we as a
quantify
brand
their impact?
so as a brand, we have never ever sort of looked at celebrity endorsements, right? uh,
Yes.
yeah.
Why is that?
Because again, right, you ask the question, what is the role that a celebrity endorser does for the brand, right? And the classic cases that we have seen is there's a fairly new brand in the market which is people are not aware, and I want to suddenly drive the awareness in a big way. There are certain soft attributes which maybe the brand is missing, and I need to add those attributes to my brand, and I use then a celebrity's persona to add those attributes to my brand. Now, if these are two things that I'm really not concerned about at this point of time, what will a celebrity do to me as a brand,
Okay.
right? So we've always, and even in our strategy, we have never used the classic models. We have always used people who are your typical next door, person kind of
Hmm.
personas, because they're more steeped in reality, in people who you sort of come across on a day-to-day basis. Having said that, recently we did use celebrities for our page app launch campaign, but I would say they were not again used for celebrities for being celebrities, right? They were not pure blind endorsers. The concept demanded that. And the whole idea was, the page app offers you as a customer choice of payments, and here are some people who was stereotyped, and because of which they never had a choice in life, but with page app now they have a choice. So it was the
Okay.
concept which demanded, that we can use celebrities in a smart, nice way, but not purely for an endorsement saying, hey, because I'm saying so, use my product. right?
Sure.
So that clearly is a outlook that we have. The second
Hmm.
part that you asked about was social media influencers, and yes, we believe they work extremely well. They have given us extremely good results in our past campaigns, and we have used right from the cat A to the micro nano influencers, mix of them sometimes to sort of create outcomes we wanted. But that also is a very fast evolving area, I think. And while it was early stages, just blindly going and using a lot of them made sense. But now there's more thought that needs to go into it, because obviously consumers are also wising up to the fact that, at the end of the day, these
Right.
people paid endorsements, right? So how do you fit your content natively or your brand natively into the content that these influencers are creating? I think is the next challenge, which is something which we believe we are also on the right path for leveraging that.
So do you find these IPs during these events and worthy for your sponsorship, and how do you define those parameters for your brand?
So in isolation, I think IPs don't work. As a part of a larger campaign, if it is adding value, then definitely.
Hmm.
So the way we would measure an IP is, hey, again, is it an attribute that it is adding to my imagery, right? By associating with a particular IP, is it giving me extra eyeballs? Because this IP will find a wider range of audience engaging with it, and also if it has very high engagement, then there's high affinity, so my message will stick with the consumer, right? So if these are aspects are getting solved for by this, I would be happy to add any IP that is available along with a big property. But
Hmm.
if you were to ask me that I will pick up only one such IP and not be a part of the main event, I think that does not work.
Okay. And based on the current trends, what are your predictions for the future of advertising in the context of major events like IPL and general elections?
So each will continue to have a role to play, but I think IPL clearly, given the way India is and the fact that cricket is a religion, has the extremely high engagement, sort of property, will continue to do well. It's been what now, 14th year, if I'm not mistaken, of the IPL, and still you see the
Yeah.
ratings keep going up, the viewership keeps going up. I don't see
Yeah.
too much fatigue happening in terms of the fan base, the follower base that they have. So it's something which will continue to do well. Yes, maybe something new may come up, but so far I think no one else has been able to capture the imagination of the audiences as well as the IPL franchise has done. Right.
What are the challenges and opportunities you foresee in advertising for the upcoming IPL and general elections? And how is your brand preparing to tackle them?
What how we are preparing to tackle them is still under wraps. We are thinking about it, right? But
Oh, okay.
having said that, I think challenges really is not the concern. It's about, is there an opportunity for me to leverage that, for what we have planned as a brand, as an organization from a business standpoint. And if any one of these seems to fit the bill, then why not is the question, right?
Okay.
And if you ask me extremely fairly, I am not too sure how elections may play a role in anything that I am planning for the near future. IPL may or may not have a role. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I think, Ashish, that was a great session with you, and thanks for all the insights and all that you shared with us today. And as we wrap up today's insightful session with Ashish Morone, ladies and gentlemen, we are left with a deeper understanding of HDFC Bank's innovative marketing strategies and how they're navigating the post-merger landscape. Ashish, your expertise and foresight are truly inspiring.
Thank you so much and pleasure.
Thank you, Ashish, for sharing your journey and insights with us, and to our viewers for tuning in. Remember, in the dynamic field of marketing, adaptation and foresight pave the way to success. I'm Preeti Hoon saying goodbye on this episode of DMA Brandmasters. Keep watching for more stories that inspire and inform. Until then, next time. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Ashish.
Thank you.
Good to be connected to you. I'll add
Yes,
you on LinkedIn, and
sure.
let's stay in touch. I'm also